Okay, so this is going to be day 2 of practicing parallel and perpendicular lines. So we're just going to start with number 1. It says write an equation in slope-intercept form for the line that passes through 6, 2 and is parallel to y equals negative 2/3 x plus 1. And then graph both lines. So hopefully you remember from yesterday that parallel lines have the same slope. So parallel lines have the same slope. So we're asked to find parallel. So I'm going to put parallel equals same slope. All right, and we're given an equation in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. In slope-intercept form, in y equals mx plus b, m is the slope. So the m, or slope, of this equation is negative 2/3. We're going to take the negative and the 2/3. So our line, the line that we're going to write that goes through 6, 2, is also going to have an m that is negative 2/3, or a slope of negative 2/3. They are the same. We also need to make sure our line goes through the point 6, 2. So I'm going to write that here as well, 6, 2. So what we don't know to write this equation is b. We do not know what our y-intercept is. We know that it's going to have a slope of negative 2/3 and a point of 6, 2. So you could plot the point 6, 2 and then use the slope to find the y-intercept, but we're going to do this algebraically. So we're going to write in y equals mx plus b, fill in our y, our m, and our x to be able to solve for b. So our y is this 2 right here in this ordered pair. This is an x, comma, y. So we're going to fill in what we know. So our y is 2. That's equal to our m is negative 2/3. Parentheses, we're plugging in our x of 6 plus b. And then we solve for b. So to solve for b, we're going to first multiply negative 2/3 times 6, and hopefully you can do that, but if not, you definitely use your calculator. I'm going to encourage you to use your calculator whenever you feel like it's necessary. So we're going to do negative 2/3, so control divide to get a fraction bar, negative 2/3 times 6 is going to be negative 4. So we have 2 equals negative 4 plus b. Then our last step is to get this negative 4 to the other side of the equal sign. So we do the opposite of negative 4, which would be to add 4. So I'm going to add 4. What we do to one side, we do to both sides. These are a 0 pair. A negative 4 and a positive 4 are going to cancel out every time. That's what we wanted to happen because we're trying to get b by itself. 2 plus 4 is going to be 6 equals b, or b equals 6. So now we have an equation, or we have the numbers we need to use to write an equation. So we have m is negative 2/3, b is 6. We're going to plug that into y equals mx plus b. So in y equals mx plus b, we're going to have y equals negative 2/3 x plus 6. So graphing that on paper, we'll practice one on paper, and then I'll show the other one in the calculator. So graphing on paper, we're going to plot the y-intercept first. So our y-intercept is 6. That's your b, or your beginning. So we're going to go to 0, 6. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. So 0, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the y-axis is going to be right there, 0, 6. From there, we're going to rise and run negative 2/3. So if I go negative 2 on my rise, I'm going to run positive 3. If I go positive 2 on my rise, I'm going to run negative 3. So this negative either goes with the top, or the numerator, or the bottom, the denominator, but not both. If you do both negative, then that's a negative divided by negative, which would make a positive. So we're only going to go negative in one direction. So if I go down 2, if I put the negative with the 2, I'm going to go down 1, 2, and then I have to go right positive 3. Right 1, 2, 3. So my next point will be right here at 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4. I would do that again. Down 1, 2, right 1, 2, 3. Down 1, 2, right 1, 2, 3. The other option, instead of down 2 and right 3, would be to go positive 2, which would be a rise up of 2, then go left 3, which is what makes it negative. So that way you would go up 1, 2, left 1, 2, 3. Up 1, 2, left 1, 2, 3. From that, we should be able to draw a straight line. My straight lines are not usually very good, but we'll try. So there we go. My iPad helped me out a little bit. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. So there is my line. All right, so we want to check and make sure that it goes through the point that they said it should. So it should have gone through 6, 2, and if I look on my paper, I didn't actually put this one, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2 is this coordinate right here. So 6, 2 was the coordinate that they told me it should be going through. The other thing that they said is it should be parallel to negative 2/3 x plus 1. Well, this has a slope of negative 2/3, so negative 2/3 x plus 1 also has a slope of negative 2/3. So it would be the exact same line, it would just be shifted down to positive 1. So instead of my y-intercept being at 6, it would be at 1, and then from there I would go down 2, right, 1, 2, 3. Down 2, right, 1, 2, 3. Down 2, right, 1, 2, 3. Or instead of that, you could go up 1, 2, left 1, 2, 3. Up 1, 2, left 1, 2, 3. Up 1, 2, left 1, 2, 3. And then you should be able to connect those. Again, mine's not usually very good, but so there we go. It's close. Again, still not great, but definitely parallel. All right, so the other example then for parallel is number 2. So it says write an equation in slope-intercept form for a line parallel to y equals negative 3/4 x plus 3 containing negative 8, 6, and then graph both lines. So this one we will graph by calculator. So again, the same process as last time. We need to know first that parallel lines have the same slope. So in this equation, y equals mx plus b, m is the slope. So our m for this equation is negative 3/4. So m for our equation is also going to be negative 3/4. We do not know what b is, and that is what we're going to be looking for. We know that we have an x of negative 8 and a y of 6 because these are an x, comma, y. That's an ordered pair. So we're going to plug all of that in to y equals mx plus b. So y is going to be 6 equals our m, or our slope, is negative 3/4 times our x is going to be negative 8 plus b. From there we want to solve. So negative 3/4 times negative 8, hopefully you know a negative times a negative is going to be a positive. If you did this without a calculator, just to refresh some of your memories, you would do negative 3 straight across to negative 8. So negative 3 times negative 8 would be positive 24. 24 divided by 4 would be 6. If I use my calculator just to confirm that, negative 3, control divide to get the fraction, 3/4 times negative 8. There we go, is positive 6. So again, negative 20 or positive 24 here divided by 4 should be 6. So we get 6 equals 6 plus b. Now we want to get b by itself, so I need to get this 6 on the right-hand side to the other side. So to do that, we do the opposite. So the opposite of a positive 6 is a minus 6, or subtract 6. These are a zero pair and cancel, so we're left with b equals, these are also a zero pair. 6 minus 6 is just 0. So our b is 0. That means it's going to go through the origin 0, 0. So we'll see that on our calculator here in just a second. So our equation in y equals mx plus b is just going to have an m. We don't have to put a b of 0. So our answer of the line parallel to this line that goes through negative 8, 6 is going to be y equals negative 3/4 x. Again, you could put plus 0 if you wanted. That's not really necessary, though. We don't normally write that. So I'm actually going to erase that because we don't normally put that. All right, so using my calculator to check, I'm going to graph y equals negative 3/4 x. I'm going to check that it goes through this coordinate, negative 8, 6, and that it's parallel to this equation that they gave me. So let's graph it. So we're going to do Control Doc to add a page. I'm going to add a graph. F of x, remember, is y. That's the same thing. So this equation I wrote y equals, I could have written f of x equals negative 3/4 x. That f of x is the same thing as y. Same thing, interchangeable. So negative 3, control divide, fourths x. So there it is. It goes through 0, 0. We want to see that it goes through this point, negative 8, 6. So I'm going to trace to do that. Menu, trace is 5, 1, graph trace. Starts out at 0, 0. I want to go to negative 8. So I just type negative 8, enter. So negative 8, 6, there it is. So the second thing I'm going to do and confirm is that it's parallel to this line. So to graph that line, I'm going to push tab. And my second equation is going to be negative 3/4. So again, control divide to get the fraction bar. Negative 3/4 x plus 3. So there it is. There are my two parallel lines. To move these, you can click and hold and drag them away from the line if they're in your way. So we can see that these two lines are parallel. Besides that the slope is the same, because they are, just looking at them, getting a visual of them shows you that they're parallel.